Platformers with retro-themed graphics and an anthropomorphic animal as its main character instantly take me back to the good old days of my childhood, and I just got done playing a new game with that aesthetic called Furwind. But is this one a ferocious platforming feast, or is Furwind more like breaking wind? Furwind is very much a retro-style action platform game. You're taking the role of an anthropomorphic fox who uses his tail as his main weapon. Furwind can also do a double jump, and you gain a few new abilities throughout the adventure, including being able to do a dive glide forward to get across gaps, as well as being able to heal yourself. The game is broken up into 3 acts, with each one containing multiple levels that you need to complete a certain number of goals in order to reach the boss and move on to the next one. The levels themselves, your goal is to find 2 pieces of an amulet that ends up opening up the exit in that level. To track these down, you'll have to explore the level and get to a boss or puzzle that you'll have to face off with, and once completed, you'll get 1 piece of that amulet. Keep going through the level until you find that next boss or puzzle, do that, and you'll have that second piece where you can then make your way to the exit to complete the stage. However, there are also plenty of nooks and crannies to explore where you'll end up finding scrolls that end up unlocking some of the game's extra challenges and the prisoner levels. These levels and challenges are accessed from the main map, but you have to have found the scrolls in the levels in order to have access to them. The challenge levels just have an intense area where it may have some difficult platforming or hard enemies to deal with, where you'll need to navigate to find a red sphere, break it, which will then open up the goal that you then go to and complete the challenge. The prisoner levels, you'll need to destroy every enemy in the level, and then you free the prisoner for that particular one. Controls, as expected, are simple. You're able to jump, double jump, you can hold down in order to do a stomp, which can actually damage enemies, but you gotta be careful, sometimes doing it at the wrong spot will send you flying instantly downwards and end up missing wherever you're trying to get to. The other buttons start to be added on as the game progresses, giving you your other abilities, but it's nothing too complicated. The biggest issues I have with the game is the jumping itself is a bit floaty that some may not end up finding the most fluent with their platforming, and your main attack with the foxtail is really short range, so trying to hit a lot of enemies, especially early on, I found myself just bumping in and taking damage. The levels have a few checkpoints each within them. You have to actually pay your jewels in order to access those checkpoints, and you'll have to redo them after a certain task if you want to save that progress while you're continuing on in the level. For example, you may want to save before you take on one of the little mini-bosses in order to get an amulet piece, but once you get that amulet piece, you'll have to spend more gems in order to save the progress or risk continuing on the level, dying and losing that piece of the amulet and having to redo that encounter. Thankfully, all of the encounters throughout the game with this are relatively small ones, so even when you lose a bit of progress and go back to one of those checkpoints, you're usually not losing too much. The most annoying levels came from the cave stages, where you have to keep fireflies around you in order not only to see, but stop the kind of evil surroundings from engulfing you. Once you run out of fireflies, you end up just instantly dying, and there's some really kind of far places that you'll have to explore in the dark to try to get some of the scrolls in those stages, and if you end up getting a scroll dying but you hadn't resaved from one of the checkpoints, you'll end up losing that progress and have to re-get the scroll. Thankfully, the money can also be used to upgrade your character. There is a shop that you get pretty early on in the game. You can increase the amount of health that you have, as well as also increasing the stamina bar. Every time you attack in the game, you use a bit of that stamina bar, so you can't just keep mashing that attack. You'll end up running out, you'll have to wait a few seconds in order to get another attack out. The biggest issue with Furwind is it's not necessarily a very long game, and you combine that with each one of the acts, you still have the same world map with the same level themes for each one of the stages. It is a different design in each one of the acts, but the level's themes and overall feeling, you just end up feeling like you're doing the same things all throughout the course of the game. It could definitely have used a bit more variety. Thankfully, the boss encounters were pretty challenging and enjoyable. From the technical side of things, I didn't run into anything major as far as glitching or crashing. Furwind is available now on the PlayStation 4 for $9.99. It does feature a Platinum trophy. The game is also available on the Vita, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PC. Overall, Furwind is a cute, retro-style platformer that I actually did enjoy playing through, but it ends up lacking a bit of variety. There are so many other games out there and around the similar price that honestly Furwind is not a must-buy by any means. Though if it ends up going on sale, or if you're a big retro enthusiast looking for that itch, maybe Furwind can cure it, but just don't expect a whole ton from it. I'm going to be giving Furwind a 6 out of 10. That's going to wrap up this review though. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.